gas and electricity markets. We will have from the 3rd of March new transparency rules applying in the gas sector. We are, or rather the regulators that have been over the last while looking at new transparency rules, again relating to fundamental data for the electricity sector, which we will probably put through the comitology process in the course of next year. These are very important. By themselves, though, they don't define what is inside information. So, of course, this is a help, and this is something that's very important to the markets, but it's not enough. And REMIT, alongside that, will also ensure that anybody who has inside information can be is constrained in how they act upon that inside information without publishing it. The procedures that are being established for publication give confidence and to the market, and also give a coherent framework for publishing fundamental data. So in that sense, they complement each other, but REMIT still is very important. It has clear prohibitions on action on inside information or data which should be made public.
Maybe just pick up on that and reflecting on electricity. I'm not even sure you told Tag, but yes.
No, I think you should explain in some detail, maybe.
Yes, you may know that we have asked ERGEG in February over this year to come up with a detailed transparency list, transparency items, what sort of fundamental data would have to be put out according to their advice. So now they have really done quite a serious work, and we just have received their advice on these detailed items, where many of the companies had been involved in the public consultation of. So this will be put through comitology, as I said, next year, along with the European legislators sort of working on our REMIT proposal. So these will tie in very well. These two pieces of legislation will come at the right time, so that it helps people to put out more data, to help market participants to access more data on the markets and base their trading decisions on those enhanced transparency requirements, plus being able to apply the rules on the prohibition of market abuses. And these two words will come good together to enhance market integrity.
Yes, and Rachel has a question. Actually, quoting from the draft impact assessment, which is now an impact assessment and will be published, if not directly along with the proposal shortly, and will be also accessible on the website. Basically, she points out that the part of the problem is that accessing data on market behaviour in neighbouring wholesale gas and power markets is a particular problem. The draft assessment says this makes it easier to manipulate the market, particularly where gas and power is traded OTC or through intermediaries based outside the country. Much of the trade is currently carried out through brokers based in London. Can you say more about this? I think this is actually core to the proposal, a recognition of how gas and electricity markets have developed over the last 10 or so years or more since the liberalisation process began, and what it means to have an integrated market. Essentially, markets are cross-border in two aspects. They're cross-border in terms of where trading takes place, and this is what we said, we pointed out that a lot of trading takes place in London through brokers, but not just. There's also brokers based elsewhere inside the EU, and brokers, and also trading takes place through power exchanges that are located outside of where delivered. And the second aspect in which the which the market is cross-border is that the price formation on any particular market, for example the German and French most obviously, is highly correlated, that the impact of production or information release decisions on any market affects the prices on all the interconnected markets or across the internal market. At present, we all know, and this is that the CRE, the French regulator, has within its mandate a mandate to look at energy markets, at wholesale markets, and has taken this very seriously and has begun to collect data from brokers based in London related to French power. This is in some senses a positive step, but something that if we were to expand it across the EU could lead to extremely onerous publication obligations on data reporting obligations on market participants, but also it's very unclear who they should be asking for data and when. For example, if you are in Czech Republic or Germany or Italy, you have to establish where your trades are being made, where the trades related to your area are being made, and then access the data. What the remit does is it creates a clear framework for the collection of this data, irrespective of where it was traded or who traded it. And again, as we also say, we'll collect data also on financial markets that are related to energy, so financial instruments that are essentially related to wholesale energy products. And this allows you to build up a clear, comprehensive picture of what's happening. And it facilitates the work of Acer clearly in the first instance of looking at the European market and at the overall development of the European market. It also facilitates the work of, for example, CRE, who won't have to engage in a monthly data collection exercise anymore. They will be facilitated. They will be able to draw down a much wider range of data. They will be able to draw down on data that also reflects what's been happening on the EEX in Leipzig and on related exchanges in the trilateral area, or now in the CWE area, that's affecting price formation in France. And that's the very important development which this does. I mean, not only does it make clear that there are certain activities which are not allowed, but it also prohibited, which is the market manipulation. It also allows for those to be effectively looked at both at the European level and at the national level.
Any more additional questions from you?
Exactly.
Not at all. So, okay, the question was whether we see a problem or perceived problem that trades are executed two different ways, OTC or brokered markets or exchanges. No, per se, not at all. And we are very much in favor of competition, also in terms of the different platforms and the channels through which basically the same type of wholesale transactions can be executed or can be facilitated. So we very much encourage this. And you rightly say, yes, as long as it doesn't impede a regulator's capability of looking at these transactions timely and completely, so as to be able to establish whether market abuses had happened. And we believe that collecting this data and having this data to be looked by a central entity, i.e. here in our case Acer, will bring these regulatory clarity, and we shouldn't saddle the horse the way around, which is to say that we force everyone to trade through one marketplace just for the sake of being able to collect data.
Yeah, and I think, and just again to point out that what our concern is ultimately is that wholesale energy market prices are reflected in the bills of consumers every month. In the end, the prices are passed through, and there's a legitimate interest from consumers and from policymakers in ensuring that these reflect a fair interplay of supply and demand. What this allows is it allows market participants to have flexibility in how and where they trade, but also allows policymakers and citizens to be confident in the prices that result from that trading.
Any more questions?
I was almost going to say we should ask them for their opinion. Okay.
Anything more you want to need? We need to know.
We can stay quiet until. Stuart asks, have we been contacted by privately owned trade repositories to fulfill this function? No, not yet. But what I think we should point out is that, and this is not part of remit, just to be clear, this is background, is that Airgag working mostly with e-control, together with power exchanges, well, actually principally EEX, but as EXAA is also supportive of it, brokers through the London Energy Brokers Association and other EFIT, actually the European Federation of Energy Traders, some large utilities including RWE, and other utilities including Thomas Niedrich and his, I can't remember what it's called, his study group, have been working on so-called pilot project, which they see as being a proof of concept for how to report data. I think this is a very important development. We look forward with interest to seeing what they have to say in the new year as to how the best ways of transferring data should be, and the practical problems that will come in establishing a trade repository, and so on. The regulators, as I said, are there. The regulators are looking at that, and moving on to Isabella's questions. Well, okay, I'll leave that for a moment. For the privately owned trade repositories, we will see how this develops. The important factor is that Acer is able to access the data and that it's done efficiently. I think, and over the next year, we will see that even as the proposed regulation is discussed, we will see how that develops. And follow it with interest, and I think it's very important work. Then we have Isabel.
Isabel is wondering whether all these beautiful measures will stop companies using inside information. Well, it will clearly not stop them, because for that no one can guarantee. But what we believe is that they are crafted in a way which would efficiently deter them from trying to abuse this inside information
and detect it when they do.
And exactly, and once it happens, which cannot be sort of avoided, then it is detected in an efficiency throughout Europe, which would give the markets and regulators the confidence they need to be able to support wholesale markets to develop.
And it's good that we have cynical market reporters. It helps, approach what people and markets are doing with a degree of cynicism. Are we on the 3 again or something?